So there are two distributions that you are going to study in discrete and two in the continuous. So in the discrete distribution, we are going to study one is the binomial distribution, the other one is the Poisson distribution. So the definition of binomial distribution I have written here. If P denotes the probability of success, small letter p if it is, P denotes the probability of success, Q denotes the probability of, probability of failure it is, probability of, oh wait, I written it here, I think, wait. P denotes the probability of success and the Q denotes the probability of failure, then the probability of X successes out of N trials. That is, for some experiment, you are performing the experiment N times. You are, that is trials we call it as, you are performing the trials N times. Out of that, you want X times success. Suppose you are tossing a coin and what is success? First you should know. So suppose you say that success is getting ahead. Getting ahead is a success. Suppose you perform this experiment 10 times. What is the probability that you get head 6 times? So that is success we want 6 times. That means our x becomes here 6. Out of 10 times when you perform the experiment, how many times will you get? 6 times you want head. That is 6 times you want the success. So that x denotes the number of successes, N is the number of trials, P denotes probability of success, and the Q denotes the probability of failure. Then the binomial distribution function denoted by B of NPX. N is the number of trials, P is the probability of success, X is the number of successes. So it is also denoted by just P of X given by NCX, P raised to X, Q raised to N minus X. This is called as the binomial distribution function. I hope you got the meaning of it. Suppose an experiment is repeated n times. N times you are going to perform the experiment. Out of n times, you want x successes. X times you want success. Then it is given by P of x is equal to NCX, x successes. So P of x, it is NCX, P raised to x, where P stands for the probability of success, Q is the probability of failure. So Q raised to N minus x. This will give us the binomial distribution function. Now, if you write the distribution, then what all values does x takes here? Probability distribution, you know that it is the set of all the values of x and the corresponding probabilities, x and p of x. Can you tell me what are the values that x takes here? You are performing the experiment n times and you want x successes. What values does x take?
0, 1, 2, 3, ma'am.
Yes, good. Because you may not get any success, that tells x is 0. No successes. Up to what value?
Up to n value, ma'am.
Because n times you may get success. Okay, so all you're performing the experiment n times, so you may get n successes. Just a minute. Sorry, let me continue. Okay, so you may not get any success, that tells x is 0. Now you are performing the experiment n times, so you may get x equal to, I'll write a little bit further here, x may be equal to 1 or it may be 2, it may be 3, so on up till x takes the value n. You are performing it n times. So all n times you may get the success. Now what are the respective probabilities? If x is 0, put x equal to 0 in this. I'll write it once again. P of x is ncx p raised to x q raised to n minus x. Put 0 here, p of 0. You get nc, I'll better write it here, nc0. Then we have p raised to 0. That means you just get 1. Q raised to x is again 0 here. That means I'll write p raised to 0, q raised to n. You will get nc0, p raised to 0. Either you can write it or skip it. Then you have q raised to n. Now if you put n equal to 1, x equal to 1, then it is nc1, p raised to 1, q raised to it is n minus 1. Now if you put x equal to 2, nc2, p raised to 2, q raised to n minus 2. Continues. If it is 3, nc3, p cube, q raised to n minus 3. Now if x is equal to n, x is again n means it is ncn, p raised to n, q raised to 0. So this is the set of probabilities for the corresponding values of x. We have these values. Okay. So do you notice anything from these probability values? nc0, p can skip, q raised to n. Then you have nc1, p, q raised to n minus 1, nc2, p square, q raised to n minus 2. Last one, ncn, it is again 1 only. You can write ncn, p raised to n. What are these actually? Where will you find them? Where will you find such terms? Binomial expansion of p plus q raised to n. I hope anybody remembers, usually you are written in the form of a plus x raised to n. It is nc0, a raised to n into x, then nc1, a raised to n minus 1 x square, sorry, a raised to n minus 1 x square, so on it continues. Do you remember this or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
In PUC you have studied it, binomial expansion, right? So these terms, each of the probabilities that we have got, they are nothing but the terms that we find in the binomial expansion. Hence the name here, binomial distribution function. That is why we define it as the binomial distribution function. Okay, so these are the distributions. And one more thing here, if you take the sum of all these, your distribution property tells summation p of x must be equal to 1. Now, if you add all these, are written the same probabilities. If you add all these, what will you get? Just now we discussed this is nothing but the binomial expansion of p plus q raised to n. Now, what's the value of p plus q? What does p stands for?
Success.
Success. It is probability of success. And q stands
Yes.
for probability of
Probability
failure.
of failure.
Then if you add these two, probability of success plus probability of failure, it
1.
should be always equal to 1. Yes, 1 raised to n, it is nothing but 1. So summation p of x, it is equal to 1. And you can see that there are no negative terms. Each of the probabilities are 0, or maybe you will get 0, or it is greater than 0. Each probability is either it is 0 or greater than 0. So it obeys both the conditions. Hence, binomial distribution function, we call it as a discrete distribution function. Okay. So you just need to remember this one. The binomial distribution function, it is given by p of x is equal to ncx, p raised to x, q raised to n minus x, where n denotes the number of trials, X denotes the number of successes that you want. P is the probability of success. Q is probability of failure. Okay. So next, note that when we apply this binomial distribution, it is concerned with trials of repetitive nature. Whenever repetition occurs, that is when you toss a what do you say, coin or a dice, repetition occurs. Either head appears so many times or tail appears so many times, or when you go for a dice, the same number 2, 3, 1 to 6 will repeat there. So such experiments come under this binomial distribution, in which the occurrence or non-occurrence, okay, either it may occur or it may not occur. Either you may have a success or a failure, acceptance or rejection, yes or no. Such events are of interest in binomial distribution. They should be of repetitive nature, and either you may be able to say any one of this. It occurs or not occurs. You may get a success or you may get a failure. Either the answer should be yes or no. You have to accept it or you have to reject it. Such cases comes under your binomial distribution. Now, where you are going to apply this binomial distribution? It will be applied for detecting the radar detection is there, then the number of defectives in a sample from production in the industry. Lot many things when you manufacture, how many defectives are produced. For example, screws if you are producing. Now, what's the probability of getting a defective screw? When you take so many times you buy a packet of screws from a store. So in that packet, one or two may be defective. So that probability is counted, or it is how that is counted, that comes under is binomial distribution. Then estimation of reliability of systems, how much reliable the system is. Whenever you take a machine or anything, to what extent you can rely on that system. The reliability, again, it is checked by using this binomial distribution. Number of rounds fired from a gun hitting a target. When you hit any target with your gun, so whether you are able to shoot it or not, that probability. So it is again, it comes under the binomial distribution function. Okay. Now these are the different basic concepts of binomial distribution. We'll go for the mean of binomial distribution. So the mean of binomial distribution, already you know the mean is denoted by mu. And what's the formula? What's the formula for mean? Mean of a
Summation x
binomial
into
distribution.
probability of x.
Yes. Summation x into it is p of x. And here you know what is p of x. It is, or else you write it. And for a binomial distribution, p of x is ncx, p raised to x, q raised to n minus x. So let us substitute it. Summation x into it is x into ncx, p raised to x, q raised to n minus x. Now we have to find this summation. What value does, will you take this summation of what to what you will write here? What varies up to what? What varies here? Just now you saw. What did we vary here?
X
Yes,
value varies,
from
ma'am.
0
From
to n,
0 to
right?
n.
X varies from 0 to n. Summation x taking the value from 0 to n, x into p of x it is. Now we have just substituted p of x function. That is the binomial distribution function. Now let me expand this binomial function there. Summation x equal to 0 to n, x into, what's the formula for NCR?
N factorial divided by r factorial bracket n minus r
Divided
factorial.
by n minus r factorial.
R factorial into n minus r factorial. This is your NCR formula. So in that, let me go for NC x here it is. We'll get n factorial divided by n minus x factorial into x factorial. P raised to x, q raised to n minus x will keep as it is. Now, what I want is, I want to cancel this x. I want to cancel this x. So for that, we will split this x factorial. So 5 factorial can be written as 5 into 4 factorial. Is it so?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
X minus
5 factorial.
factorial.
It is just 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, right? You can remove this 5 and write it as 4 factorial. So in that way, what we do is n minus x factorial. Here you have x factorial. I'll write this x factorial as x into x minus 1 factorial, 1 less than that. If it is 5 factorial, you can put it as 5 into 4 factorial. So 4 is 1 less than 5. So x factorial is there, we'll split it as x into x minus 1 factorial so that it cancels with our x. Now similarly, or else I'll tell you in the next step, I'll write n factorial. Here we'll write p raised to x, q raised to n minus x. Now you can cancel this x. Can cancel x. Now, what value does x take from? I can't write x equal to 0 here. I can't write x equal to 0 because 0 minus 1 means it will get minus 1 factorial, which is not defined. Hence, x will take the value from 1 to n. X takes the value from 1 to n since we have cancelled one of our x. Now, here we have got in terms of x minus 1. So, let us write all the terms, whatever are here in terms of minus 1 only. So, for that, n factorial, will put it as n into n minus 1 factorial. Similarly, as we did here x factorial, n factorial is splitted as n into n minus 1 factorial. And here you have n minus x factorial. There, let us add and subtract to 1. It is n minus x factorial. I have added 1 and I have subtracted 1 to it. We'll keep x minus 1 factorial as it is. P raised to x is there. We'll split it, or else you can say add and subtract 1. Later we'll split. P raised to x is there. Again, I'll add and subtract 1. Q raised to n minus x is there. Again, I'll add and subtract 1. We do this because since here you have got x minus 1 factorial, everywhere we want it in terms of minus 1 only. So for that sake, we have splitted this n factorial as n into n minus 1 factorial. N minus x is there in the bracket. Now we'll add and subtract 1 for it. X minus 1 factorial is kept as it is. P power x is there. We'll keep it as p power 1 plus x minus 1 by adding and subtracting 1. And for this again power n minus x will add and subtract 1. Now it is summation x is equal to 1 to n. What I can write, n is outside, n minus 1 factorial divided by n minus 1 minus of x minus 1. Is it okay? We have taken minus outside from this bracket. From the last two terms, we'll take minus outside. From these two terms, I have taken minus outside so that it is n minus 1 minus of x minus 1 factorial into we have x minus 1 factorial. I'll again split this as p into p raised to x minus 1. A raised to m into a raised to n will be a raised to m plus n. You know this all properties of indices. So here it is in the form of a raised to m plus n. We'll split it as a raised to m into a raised to n. Okay. Then again later next term is kept. Sorry. Next term it is kept as it is. I'll just take minus outside. Q raised to n minus 1 minus of x minus 1. Okay. Now n, it is independent of any x here. No x is there. I'll keep it outside because x takes the value from 1 to n. N is independent of any x. I kept it outside. Similarly, this p also let us keep outside the summation. X will take the value from 1 to n. Then what can you write for this term? NCR, you know the formula, it is n factorial divided by n minus r factorial into r factorial. You can compare it with that. Instead of n, you have n minus 1. Again, instead of n here, you have
n minus 1.
yes, n minus 1. And instead of r, you have here x minus 1. Okay, so that means we can write it as n minus 1 c x minus 1. Instead of NCR, now we have changed it to n minus 1 c x minus 1. We have the terms p raised to x minus 1, q raised to n minus 1 minus of x minus 1. Now it is the summation that x takes the value from 1 to n. So np again will keep as it is. Let me expand the summation by putting different values for x. If you put x equal to 1, what happens? What will you get if you put n equal to, x equal to 1? N minus 1 as it is. C. Is it 0? X is 1. 1 minus 1 you get 0. P raised to 0. Q raised to, how much you get? Q raised to how much it is?
n minus 1.
N minus 1. Because x is 1. 1 minus 1 it is 0. 1 minus 1 it is 0. You are remained with only n minus 1. Now I'll put n equal to 1. This is for x equal to 0. I'll put x equal to 1 now. What happens if I put x equal to 1? N minus 1.
No, madam.
X minus.
For x equal to 1 only we have.
Sorry. Yes. We started with 1, no? X equal to 1. Here we will put x equal to 2. Okay. What happens if you put x equal to 2 now? It is n minus 1 c. 2 minus 1 means it is 1. P raised to 2 minus 1 it is 1. Q raised to again n minus 1 as it is minus 2 minus 1 means it is 1 plus. If I put x equal to 3, n minus 1 c. 3 minus 1 it is 2. P raised to, you are having x as 3. So 3 minus 1 means here you will get 2. Then again q raised to it is n minus 1 minus 3 minus 1 means you will get here 2. So on, the terms will continue. At last you are putting n. If you put n there, then n minus 1 c n minus 1 p raised to n minus 1. For x you are putting n. Then if you put n here, n minus 1 and n minus 1 with plus and minus and cancels, it is q raised to 0. So this is the expansion. Now what we have to do, what this represents, now what this bracket term represents. Can you tell, or else where I have to go? I'll just write it once again. Wait. We'll write it once again. It is n minus 1 c naught, p raised to 0, q raised to n minus 1 plus n minus 1 c1 p q raised to n minus 2, it is minus 1 minus 1, n minus 1 c2 p square q raised to n minus 3, so on, n minus 1 c n minus 1 p raised to n minus 1 q raised to 0. So I'll just scroll it up. If you can.
P plus q raised to n minus 1.
Yes. See, this expansion here, it was p plus q raised to n, where you had all n terms. First n here, then it was n minus 1, then it later turns to. So sum of these two, it is again n here, that you can see. You know it, binomial expansion. The sum of the p and q, if you take powers of p and q, it will again give you n. So everywhere you have such. Now here, it is instead of n you have n minus 1 everywhere. Then if you add these two, then we'll get n minus 1. Again, if you add these two, you get n minus 1. So what this represents? It is np into
P plus q raised to n minus
1, right? Now, what is the value of p plus q?
1.
probability of success plus probability of failure. It is 1. 1 raised to anything, it is 1 again. So we have mean of the binomial distribution is equal to n into p, where n is the number of trials, p is the probability of success. So mean of the binomial distribution function is number of trials into the probability of success. Hope you understood the derivation. Derivation is important with respect to your examination. Out of 4 probability distributions that you are going to study, for any one of the distribution, surely they will ask mean and variance. Derivation, mean and variance for any one of the distributions. I hope you understood it. Not necessary to repeat. Yes, shall I proceed further?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Try to
Madam,
practice
in
it.
previous
Do it once
probabilities
again.
we have direct
Yes.
mean formula.
How to tell you? There, probability was defined for the random variable. Mean was defined for the random variable, right? Mean of that random variable was x into its probability, whatever the probability of that random variable x is, which all values it takes. Now here, the function is defined in a particular way. The probability function, this is the binomial. This is the binomial distribution function that we have defined. We want the mean of this distribution, this particular distribution. What we had done in previous cases, whatever the distribution was there, for that we had done x into p of x, right? Where
Yes,
should I
ma'am.
go? Are you understanding? Like if it was a discrete random variable, it was defined for x and p of x. You had different values. You just took the summation of x and p of x that give you the mean. But here, this p of x is defined in terms of a function. And for the corresponding values of x, we write what that p of x is, and then we will write the mean. That's the difference. Here it is exactly the whatever the probability value we are putting. Here, first we have a function, later we'll put it in terms of the values. Are you getting? So next is variance and standard deviation. So for that, standard deviation of the binomial distribution. Standard deviation of binomial distribution. You know the formula. Again, we'll apply it for this particular function. What is the formula? We can't go for standard deviation directly. We'll find variance first, then we'll calculate the standard deviation. Summation x square into p of x minus mu square. Okay, where p of x is the binomial distribution function. What is it again? P of x, it is ncx, p raised to x, q raised to n minus x. But let us not substitute it at the beginning. X takes the value from 0 to n again here, because what we want to do is, we'll split this x for x square. Let us add and subtract x. Let us add and subtract x for x square. Now, it is summation. I'll take this as one term, x square minus x into p of x will write. This bracket is there. Okay, multiplied by p of x. We'll take x square minus x and multiply by p of x plus, I'll put again summation and take the product of the remaining terms. X into p of x minus we have mu square. It is just x square into p of x. We will add and subtract x for it. Then take this as a single term, multiply by p of x. So we have x square minus x into p of x here, and again we have x into p of x. We'll write it separately. Now, what is summation of x into p of x?
NP.
Yes. Yes?
It is mean, ma'am.
Yes, it is mean, right? So here what we write is x into x minus 1. P of x, now I'll put it as ncx p raised to x q raised to n minus x, x taking the value from 0 to n, plus summation of x into p of x. It is nothing but mu minus we have mu square. Now this is equal to summation x equal to 0 to n. Now, as we cancelled x in the previous derivation, now we have to cancel this x into x minus 1 totally. First, let me expand this. N factorial, n minus x factorial into x factorial. That is our ncx, p raised to x, q raised to n minus x, plus mu minus mu square. Summation x equal to 0 to n, x into x minus 1. I want to cancel this. So what I write is here x into x minus 1 into will have x minus 2 factorial. Is it right?
Yes.
Okay. Like we wrote 5 factorial as 5 into 4 factorial. Again, we'll split it further. 5 into 4 into 3 factorial it is like. Similarly, now n factorial in the numerator will be written as n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 factorial. In the denominator, what should be done for this? What happens is x and x minus 1 cancels. Here we are getting in terms of minus 2. Previous derivation, we had got it in terms of minus 1. So what should we add and subtract here?
Plus 2 minus 2.
Yes. Yes. We'll add and subtract 2. For n minus x, we'll add and subtract 2. Again here, it is p raised to 2 plus x minus 2. Similarly, q raised to n minus 2 minus x plus 2 plus mu minus mu square. Usually you will forget writing this mu and mu square in writing all these terms. Now summation, what does x takes the value from? What's the value that x takes?
2 to n.
Yes, x takes the value from 2 to n. Summation x taking the value from 2 to n, and here n into n minus 1 is independent of x. We'll keep it outside. Again, okay, let it be the other term, I'll write it later. Then here you are remained with n minus 2 factorial divided by n minus 2 minus is taken common, x minus 2 factorial, then x minus 2 factorial. P square, again we'll split it, p square separate and p raised to x minus 2, q raised to n minus 2, take again minus outside, we'll write x minus 2 plus mu minus mu square. P square, again that is independent of your x, n into n minus 1 into p square, summation x taking the value from 2 to n. What will write for this term?
N minus 2 C x minus 2.
Yes, it is n minus 2 c x minus 2. Comparing it with your NCR formula, what remains is p raised to x minus 2, q raised to n minus 2 minus of x minus 2 plus mu minus mu square. Now, if you expand the summation, what will you get? If you expand the summation by taking 2, 3, 4 up to n, what does it give? Here, we expanded, right? Oh, that's,
P plus Q raised to N minus 2.
yes, it becomes,
P plus Q raised to N minus 2.
yes, P plus, if you not necessary to expand and write directly, you can put it. It is P plus Q raised to N minus 2. Okay. Then plus mu minus mu square. And P plus Q, it is 1. P plus Q is 1. So we get N square minus N into P square plus mu minus mu square. Okay. P plus Q is 1. I have multiplied this N also here. N square minus N. Again, we will multiply with P square. It is N square P square minus NP square plus mu. Mu for a binomial distribution?
NP.
NP. Just now we have found it. Mu is NP. Mu square is N square P square. So N square P square, I think, gets cancelled. Plus N square P square minus N square P square cancels. NP minus NP square. NP can be taken outside. 1 minus P. What is 1 minus P?
Q,
P
ma'am.
plus, yes. P plus
Q.
Q is 1. So 1 minus P is Q. We have NPQ. So the variance of a binomial distribution is NPQ, and therefore standard deviation sigma is equal to root of variance. It is root NPQ. So these are the derivations for mean and standard deviation of the binomial distribution. Let us move on to some examples. So take these examples on binomial distribution. X is a binomially distributed random variable. If the mean and variance of X are 2 and 5 by 2. So mean is given, variance is given. Find the binomial distribution function. They asked you the binomial distribution function. Mean mu is equal to 2 and variance is equal to 3 by 2. This is given. This is given to us. Now, for a binomial distribution, because it is mentioned there, it is a binomial distribution. For a binomial distribution, mu is equal to NP. It is equal to 2. Mu is NP. It is equal to 2. And variance is equal to NPQ. It is equal to 3 by 2. Now with this, we have to find the binomial distribution function. That means you want N, you want P, and you want Q. How to get it?
Putting the value of N and P in equation
Yes.
2.
Substituting 1 into NP together, it is 2. So put that value here. We'll get 2Q is equal to 3 by 2, or this implies Q is equal to 3 by 4. If Q is 3 by 4, what is P? P is 1 minus Q, because P plus Q is 1. P is 1 minus Q. So 1 minus 3 by 4, We have 1 by 4. Now substitute this P in mean formula, we'll get N.
N equal to 8, ma'am.
N is 8. Others, did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
It's 8. Okay, then write the distribution function. Write the distribution function. NP is equal to 2. So N into P is 1 by 4. It is equal to 2. So this implies N equal to 8. So the binomial distribution function is what it is? P of x is equal to NCX P raised to x Q raised to N minus x. N is 8. Cx P it's 1 by 4 raised to x. Q is 3 by 4 raised to x. So that is the binomial distribution function.
8 minus 6.
8. Oh, okay, sorry. 8 minus x. No, here. Power of q. Okay. NCX P raised to x and Q raised to N minus x. It is, you should write 8 minus x. Take this next example. 6 coins are tossed. Find the probability of getting exactly 3 heads, at least 3 heads, at least 1 head, at most 2 heads. What will you write? Can you tell me what is your N, what is your P, and what is your Q? Six coins are tossed. What it tells?
N equal to 6.
Yes,
ma'am.
number of trials. 6 coins are tossed. The experiment is repeated 6 times. So that implies N is equal to 6. Find the probability of getting. Can see there exactly 3 heads, at least 3 heads, at least 1 head, at most 2 heads. Everywhere it is asked about head. That means success is getting a head. Success is getting a head. Now what is probability of success? P. What is P? It is probability of getting a head. Can you tell me what is probability of getting a head here? What's the probability of getting a head?
6. ma'am.
6. Confusion. See, whenever you are doing this examples or binomial distribution, already you are taking that the experiment is done 6 times. That you are multiplying already, that will be considered in your function. So don't take the number of trials. Whatever the probability you are going to write, it will be for one experiment only. One trial, if you do the whatever the event is there, at that time, what will be the probability that you're going to get? Probability of getting head while doing the experiment. What is the experiment? Tossing of a coin is the experiment. So don't go for 6 times tossing it. Once if you perform the experiment, what is the probability of getting head?
1/2.
1 by 2. One head is there. Total possibilities is 2. So it is 1 by 2. Then what is Q?
1/2.
1/2.
Because it is 1 minus P, right? 1 minus P becomes 1 minus 1 by 2. You get again 1 by 2. You got P, you got Q, you know N. Now write the probability function. The binomial distribution function is either you can write it as B of N P X, or you can just write P of X. It is N C X P raised to X Q raised to N minus X. Put the values which all you know. N is 6, X will keep as it is. P, it is 1 by 2 raised to 1, X will keep as it is, raised to X, and again 1 by 2 raised to 6 minus X. Here both are same, bases are same, you can add the powers. So it becomes 1 by 2 raised to 6. Because the bases are same, both the probabilities are same, we got the term 1 by 2, base same there. So we can add the powers. X plus 6 minus X, it will just give you 6. Okay. Now we can go for the different questions that they asked. What's the first question? Probability of what it is? Exactly 3 heads. Probability of getting exactly 3 heads. That means, how will you write it as? Exactly 3 heads means, how will you write? What does P of X denotes? When you define the binomial distribution function here, what does your X stands for? P is probability of success, Q is the probability of failure, N is the number of trials. What does X stand for?
Number of heads getting.
Yes, number of success. In general, it stands for number of success. And here in your experiment, what you are written success is getting a head. And here you want exactly 3 heads. That means it is probability that you want X is equal to 3. Probability of 3 successes you want. 3 success means you will get 3 heads. So we will write it as probability that X is equal to 3. Just put X equal to 3 in this function. Already you are written P of X. So put X is equal to 3. You'll get 6C3. Whatever the value of 1 by 2 raised to 6 is there, can keep it. That will give us the answer. See that whenever you do the calculation, answer should be between 0 to 1 only. It shouldn't exceed 1, whether it is 1.5, 10 point something, don't write. How much?
0.3125.
0.3125. I'll write it. 0.3125. See that it should be in 0 point only. Never you will get 1 point or something. It has to be between 0 to 1. Otherwise, somewhere you have done the calculation wrong. So that you should be alert always. This is probability of getting exactly 3 heads. What's the next question? Probability of
At least 1 head.
at least 1 head. At least 3 heads. Or at least 1 head I written.
1 head. No?
1 head.
After that, 3 heads.
3 heads.
Okay, whichever. At least 3 heads, and then I written at least whichever we take. 4 questions I written. Okay. Next one is probability that of getting at least 3 heads. How will you write it as? At least 3 heads means here probability that x, what will you write? At least 3. Minimum you have to get 3 heads. At least understand that meaning, you should get at least 3 head. Minimum you have to get 3 heads. Maybe you get more than that. So what you should write?
X is greater than or equal to 3.
Good.
X is greater than or equal to 3.
Yes. X is at least 3. Minimum you have to get 3. Maybe you may get more than that, but more than that doesn't mean you can go up to infinity. Your n itself is 6. Your n itself is 6. In other words, if you want to be more exact, you can write 3 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 6. We want the probability that x lies between 3 and 6. You can just put this much. It is not wrong. X is greater than or equal to 3. But you should know that it is just up to 6. Now, how to calculate this probability that x is greater than or equal to 3? What all values? X is greater than or equal to 3 means. That is again, x takes the value from 3 up to 6. Which all values you have to add? P of 3, P of 4, that P of 3, if I write, it implies it is probability that x is equal to 3. Okay, instead of writing probability that x equal to 3, I just put it as P of 3. Then P of 5 and P of 6. So if you write probability that x is greater than or equal to 3, only this much, not this definition, then you should know where to stop. N is 6, so you'll stop at 6. Maximum you may get 6 heads. Now you have to add all these probabilities. You know the probability function already.
Can we write 1 minus P of 0 plus P of 1 plus P of 2?
Yeah, you can write. Anyhow, you get four things to be simplified. So I went this way, right? Again, you have P of 1 minus, it is probability that x is less than 3, right? So less than 3 means which all you have? 0 you have, 1 you have, 2 you have, and here you have 1 minus, right? Again, you have 4 terms. So I thought I'll write. Anyway, you can write it. Not wrong. You can put it anyway. Okay. I hope you'll do this. It is simple. 6C3 plus 6C4 plus 6C5 plus 6C6 multiplied by 1 by 2 raised to 6. I'm taking 1 by 2 raised to 6 common. It is there in each of the terms. I've taken it common. You can add this, write the answer. Your calculator will do it, I think, 6 C3 and all. Next question.
0.6563.
0.6563. Check it, others. I've written 21 by 32. Is it so? 21 by 32 I have written. Check it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Now, probability of at least one head. What's the probability of getting at least one head? How to write it? At least one head. Now you have written 3. You know how to write at least 1. It is probability that x is greater than or equal to 1. Right? At least 1. Minimum 1 you have to get. So at least is there, but you will be using greater than or equal to. So see that you will write it correctly. Now greater than or equal to 1 means you have to go from 1 up to 6. To be particular, it is 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 6 it is. Or else, what you can write? One minus
x is less than 1.
Yes, probability that
Probability of x is less than 1.
X is less than 1 means which you have?
Probability of 0.
Only you have probability of 0. So see how much you get. 1 minus x is 0 means 6 is 0. It will be 1. 1 minus 1 by 2 raised to 6 it is. 6C0 you'll get. 6C0, NC0 is 1. So 1 into 1 by 2 raised to 6 means you'll just get 1 by 2 raised to 6. Check out what you get.
0.9844.
98. 98 you told or 99?
44.
98 it is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. One more I think we are left with. I'll write it here. I have written an example below. Okay. One more example. What it is? Probability that what I have given?
At most 2 hits.
2 hits. Probability of getting at most 2 hits. How will you write it? Probability of X. What will you write?
X is less than or equal to 2.
Yes. Maximum 2. At most 2 heads. Maximum you have to get 2 heads. Not more than that. At the most you have to get 2. You should not get more than 2 heads. So it is X is less than or equal to. Should I write or only less than?
Equal to, ma'am.
Yes. At most 2. You can get 2, but not more than 2. So it is probability that X is less than or equal to 2. So which all probabilities will come? 0, 1 and 2. So it is 6C0 into 1 by 2 raised to 6. 6C1 into 1 by 2 raised to 6. And 6C2 into 1 by 2 raised to 6. So you get 1 by 2 raised to 6 everywhere common. You can take it outside. Calculate 6C0. I think it is 1.
0.3281.
0.3281. Check out this example. Probability that a pen manufactured by a company, written twice, will be defective is 1 by 10. If 12 pens are manufactured, find the probability that. What is given? What all is given there? Read before solving your probability examples, read them twice, thrice, understand them completely. What is given? What is given? Can you tell me?
N equal to 12, ma'am.
N is 12. Okay. N
And
is
defective Q is equal to 1 by 10.
what can I denote it by?
Q.
Q, ma'am.
Q. Look at the question, then decide what is your P and what is your Q. What is asked here? Exactly 2 will be defective. At least 2 will be defective. None will be defective. Your questions are asked on defective only. Exactly 2 will be defective means what will you write? Is it not that you will write probability that X equal to 2? Is it so?
Yes, ma'am.
Just think of that. Forget about everything. When you are written exactly 2 will be defective, what will you write? Probability that X equal to 2. Now what does this X stands for? X is the number of success. And you are writing that 2 will be defective. Exactly 2 will be defective. That means your success is in getting a defective pen here. Success is in getting a defective pen only. Okay, look at these questions, what they are asked into. Then decide what is your success. Whatever the question is asked in terms of, that will be your success. Okay, so mention it there
P
better.
equal to 1 by 10.
Yes, P, probability of success. Better write it there. Otherwise, you will forget it after 1 month or 2 months. I don't know when your exams will be. At that time, when you open, you'll forget it. Probability of success. That is probability of getting a defective pen or manufacturing a defective pen, actually. Manufacturing a defective pen. Probability of manufacturing a defective pen. That is your success. So, how much it is? P, it is 1 by 10. Probability that the pen is defective, it is 1 by 10. Then Q, (0.9), or I can write 9 by 10. P is 1 by 10, Q is 9 by 10. Now write the binomial distribution function. What's the binomial distribution function? P of x, it is ncx p raised to x q raised to n minus x. You know the values. N, it is 12, cx, p, it is 1 by 10 raised to x, q, it is 9 by 10 raised to n minus x, n is 12. Anyhow, you are keeping your answers in decimals, means you can write it in terms of decimals also here. You can write 0.1 raised to x if you feel comfortable to operate your calculator. 1 by 10, 0.1, and 9 by 10, it is 0.9. Now, you have to go for the different questions asked there. What's the first question? Exactly 2 will be defective. Yes. That means you want probability that x equal to 2. Put just x as 2 there in this probability function. 0.1 raised to 2. Do see that calculation part you will do correctly while using your calculators. And not necessary that you have to write each and every step after operating in your calculator. If at all you put directly the answer, no problem. After this step, you can directly write what the answer is. But for that, see that you do it correctly.
0.2301.
0.2301. Second one, at least 2 will be defective. What should I write?
X is
Probability
greater
of x is greater than or equal to.
Yes, at least 2. Just analyze the sentence, think of it, read it twice, then write it. At least 2. That means minimum you have to get 2 defective. That is probability that x is greater than or equal to 2 here. Greater than or equal to 2 means what all you have to take? 2 to how much?
2 to infinity.
12.
No, not
12,
infinity, not
12, ma'am.
infinity.
12, ma'am.
Remember here in binomial distribution, n will be small. Number of trials, actually we call it as a small sample. Usually up to 30. Maximum you may get up to 30. Not more than that. N will be 30. Sometimes they may give more than 30. But usually it is for binomial distribution, n is considered to be less than or equal to 30. Up to what you have to take? Look at your n.
12, ma'am.
12 times you are doing the trial. So maximum, how many x greater than
No, ma'am. 1 minus
2
p of
means?
0 plus p of 1.
Yeah, that will be good. X is greater than 2 means at least 2 will be defective. How many defective you may get? Up to 12, because maximum it is 12 only. So you have to add all values from 2 to 12. That becomes lengthy. So what we do, we'll write it as 1 minus probability that x is less than 2. X is less than 2 means which all values? Put bracket here, otherwise again you will go wrong. X is less than 2 means which all values? 0, from 0 you have to begin. 0 and 1.
0 and 1.
Only 0 and 1. If you don't put this bracket, this symbol will change there. You will go wrong. Then your function, it is 12C0, 0.1 raised to 0 is there. We can leave it. Directly we can write 0.9 raised to n minus x. 12 minus 0 means you'll get 12. Plus 12C1, 0.1 raised to 1, 0.1 raised to 12 minus 1, that is 11. See what answer you'll get here. At least 2 will
0.3410 total.
0.3410. And you should never get negative answers here. Probability, each value should be greater than or equal to 0 only. Third question, what it is? None will be defective. Probability that none will be defective. What should you write?
X equal to 0.
X equal to
Yes.
0.
None will be defective. Probability that x is equal to 0. So just put x as 0. 12C0, you have written it here. 0.9 raised to 12. Whatever the answer you get. 12C0 is 1. Just 0.9 raised to 12. Into 10 raised to, you may get
0.2824.
into 10 raised to, you don't have minus something because it is raised to 12.
No, ma'am.
No?
0.282.
Yes.
0.2824. Okay.
24.
Oh, that's it. Shall I continue for another few minutes or shall we stop? Yes. ಯಾರು ಹೂ ಅಂತೀರ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಉದೋರೆಲ್ಲ ಬೈತಾರೇನು? Shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought I will do this. I'll explain what is Poisson distribution so that I can take examples of binomial and Poisson together. Then you'll come to know which one is to be taken when. Okay. Next one is we'll just define it. Poisson distribution. So actually, this Poisson distribution, it is, we call it as the limiting case of binomial distribution. It is taken to be the limiting case of binomial distribution. So, in the binomial distribution, if n is very large, If n is very large, that is n tends towards infinity. If n is very large and p is very small, p is very small, that is p tends to 0. P stands for the probability of success. You are doing the experiment infinite number of times. Countably infinite it is. It is a discrete distribution. Poisson distribution is one more discrete distribution. Though n tends to infinity, the trials are countable here. So we'll take it as a discrete distribution. So in the binomial distribution, if you take n tends to infinity and p tends to 0, p is very, very small, we consider. That is probability of success is very, very small. Then the product NP tends to a fixed finite constant, usually denoted by m. It tends towards a fixed finite constant, that is usually we denote it by m. Okay, so then what happens to your binomial distribution function? Your binomial distribution function, you know it is ncx p raised to x q raised to n minus x. So here let me write it. Ncx means here it is n factorial divided by n minus x factorial into x factorial. We have p raised to x q raised to n minus x. Now n factorial can be written as n into n minus 1 into n minus 2, so on, up to, how to give you an example, like if it is 10c6, if it is 10c6, then usually it is 10 factorial divided by 10 minus, I'll write 10c4, 10 minus 4 factorial into 4 factorial. Now what this gives you, it is 10 factorial divided by 6 factorial into 4 factorial. To simplify, we usually reduce this 10 factorial, write it as 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 factorial. Then the 6 factorial gets cancelled. Usually that's the procedure that we do. So here also in the denominator we have n minus x factorial. So we'll reduce this n, okay, n minus 1, n minus 2 up to n minus x factorial. Okay, like we are written 10 minus 1, 10 minus 2 up to some 6 factorial. So here we'll write n minus x factorial divided by, we have again n minus x factorial, and you have x factorial p raised to x q raised to n minus x. Now this n minus x factorial gets cancelled. N you have, n minus 1 you have, n minus 2. Can you tell me what will be this term previous to this n minus x? Here 6 factorial is cancelled, its previous term is 7. Can you tell me what this term will be?
N minus x plus 1.
Yes, it is n minus x plus 1, right? If this is 6 factorial, it is 1 more than your whatever term. So here it is n minus x, 1 more than that will be there. It is n minus x plus 1 divided by x factorial into, you have p raised to x and q raised to n minus x. P raised to x, q raised to n minus x. Now, continues. What I want is, we'll take n common from each of the terms. We'll take n common from each of the terms. So first already we have n. In the second term, again I'll take n outside. It is 1 minus 1 by n. Again I'll take a n outside from the n minus 2 term. 1 minus 2 by n it is, so on it continues. Again from this term, I will take n common. N outside, 1 minus of, I'll write 1 x minus 1 divided by n. P raised to x, q raised to n minus x divided by x factorial. This term, n minus x plus 1 is there. I just taken minus common so that it becomes n minus of x minus 1. Again, if you are taking n common from this means it is as good as multiplying and dividing by n. So you will get n outside 1 minus x minus 1 divided by n. Now, how many n's are there? How many n's are there?
X.
X, Y, X. Yx. Of course,
From
it is
1 to
correct.
x minus 1, it's n.
Okay, see, from this term, it is your first n. From this term, it is your second n. From this term, it is your third n. When you are taken the second n means it is 1 year, 1 less than that. When you are taken the third n means here it is 2. That means if it is 1, it is your second n. If it is 2, it is your third n. Here it is x minus 1. Here it is x minus 1. That means from this term when you are taken n common, it is your xth n. So how many n's are there? X times. So it is n raised to x. This n, how many you get? You will get n raised to x there. The remaining terms. 1 minus 1 by n, 1 minus 2 by n, so on up till 1 minus x minus 1 by n. Okay. And p raised to x, I can write it here only. P raised to x. Q, I'll write here only. Q raised to n minus x divided by, it is x factorial. Now, you can write this as np raised to x. N raised to x, p raised to x is written as np raised to x. 1 minus 1 by n, 1 minus 2 by n, 1 minus of x minus 1 by n, q raised to n, I'll write in the numerator, q raised to x, I'll bring it to the denominator, into x factorial. Q raised to x into x factorial. Now, what is this? This is your p of x only. Okay. This is for the binomial expansion that we have written. We have started with the binomial expansion. We are started with this binomial distribution function. We have just simplified it and we have obtained this term. Now we will put the limiting cases. Now what all we have written as the limiting cases? We want n tending towards infinity. As n tends to infinity and we want p tends towards 0. Now what happens as n tends to infinity? And you have written that as n tends to infinity and p tends to 0, np tends to m. So this quantity, it becomes m there. Np tends to m. So instead of np, we will be writing there m. Now what about this bracket term? What are,
1, ma'am.
yes, 1 upon infinity, 2 by infinity, everywhere divided by infinity means you get there all zeros. So this whole bracket, I'll better write it as n tends to infinity, 1 minus 1 by n, 1 minus 2 by n, this product 1 minus x minus 1 by n, it tends towards 1. Okay, this quantity, it tends towards 1. Then what about your q raised to n? Q means what you can write? Q is equal to 1 minus P. Q is 1 minus P. This can be written as 1 minus M by N. NP equal to M. So P becomes M by N. Okay. For this limiting case, we have taken NP as M. So that implies P is M by N. That means Q is 1 minus M by N. So Q raised to N means it is 1 minus M by N raised to N. Now what you can write for this? 1 minus M by N raised to N means where N tends
1.
to what it is? What is it? N tends to infinity. What happens as N tends to infinity? I hope if you remember, limit as N tends to infinity of 1 plus x by
This is
N.
1 minus M by N raised to N. No?
Which one? 1 minus, oh sorry, 1 by M I had written. It should be M by N. It should be M by N. Okay. What's the limit of this? Standard limit this is. Forget about all this whatever written. Do you remember this limit? Limit as N tends to infinity of 1 plus x by N raised to N.
It's 1.
Not 1. If it is 1 by N, it is 1. If it is 1 by N, it is 1. Not 1 there also. No, it is not 1 here also. Can you, anybody, if you remember? I think you are written in the form of a by N raised to N. Here instead of a, or you are written a by x raised to N. I don't know what you are written. Limit as N tends to infinity, you might have written as x tends to infinity, 1 plus a by x raised to x. Anybody remembers the standard limit? Let x only. It is e power x. Limit as N tends to infinity of 1 plus x by N raised to N means it is e power x. So here we want the value of q raised to N as N tends to infinity. So as N tends to infinity means it is,
Madam?
yes.
Madam, here if you apply the limits, then x by infinity it will be 0 and it raised to infinity is 1 now.
1 second. What you're telling?
If you directly apply the limits, then x by infinity is 0. When 1 raised to infinity means
It
1.
takes 1 raised to infinity, which is indeterminate form. I hope you remember second semester, maybe first semester, you have studied indeterminate forms.
Yes, ma'am.
1 raised to infinity is one of the indeterminate forms, and you have to take log and simplify, right?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
instead of doing all that, better you remember this formula. 1 plus x by n raised to n, it is e power x. Therefore, limit as n tends to infinity of q raised to n. It is limit as n tends to infinity of 1 minus m by n raised to n. How much it will be equal to using this formula?
E raised to minus m.
E raised to minus m. Okay. If this n and n, we have the same terms, even one is there. Instead of x, we have here minus m. So instead of x here, we are writing minus m. So we have obtained q raised to n as n tends to infinity. It is e power minus m. This bracket term, we have got it as 1. And the first term np raised to x is there. Np will be written as m. Then q raised to x. Did we write it? No. Q raised to x. What happens to q raised to x? Q raised to x means q, we have written it as 1 minus m by n. 1 minus m by n raised to x. What happens as n tends to infinity? as n tends to infinity?
1.
1 it becomes, right? N is infinity. Anything divided by infinity becomes 0, so you get 1 there. As n tends to infinity, q raised to x is 1 raised to x. We'll get it as 1. And x factorial will be kept as it is. Okay, x factorial, there is no n or there is no p, we'll keep it as it is. So what happens to your p of x? I'll just reduce the size. You can see both. So what happens to the terms? I'll better write it here. P of x. What all you'll get? Np means it is m raised to x. Then this bracket term, it is 1. So 1 into, can skip it. What you have? Q raised to n then. What is your q raised to n as n tends to infinity? It is e raised to minus m. And denominator q raised to x, it is again 1. And you have x factorial. So this is the Poisson distribution function. That is m raised to x e power minus m divided by x factorial. The Poisson distribution function. The Poisson distribution function is p of x is equal to m raised to x e raised to minus m divided by x factorial. Like your binomial distribution function, again probability of x successes here, it is given by m raised to x, where m is the product mean np it is. So m raised to x e raised to minus m divided by it is x factorial. This is the Poisson distribution function. Again, you can see that each of the probability is positive here, e raised to minus m. Whatever it is, e raised to minus m will be positive only. M is always positive because it is np. M is equal to np. N is positive. P is also positive. So np will be positive. X factorial is also positive. So p of x is always greater than or equal to 0. And if you take the summation p of x, if you go on adding these for different values of x, if I put x equal to 0, what will you get? If x is 0, m raised to 0, it is 1, will have e raised to minus m just. If x is 1, m into e raised to minus m divided by 1 factorial is again 1. If x is 2, m square e raised to minus m divided by x is 2 factorial. If x is 3, m cube e raised to minus m divided by 3 factorial. 4, 5, it continues. You have infinite number of terms. Now what is the summation? In Poisson distribution, it goes up to infinity. Whereas in binomial distribution, x takes the value from 0 to n. In Poisson, it is 0 to infinity. So what is summation p of x now? It is e raised to minus
1.
1 it is. How did you get 1? Did you get 1? Or it has to be 1, so you're telling 1, or did you simplify and got the value as m?
That's why.
It should be 1. How is it 1 now? We have to simplify it. I think e power minus m is common. We'll take it outside. 1 plus m square by 2 factorial, m cube by 3 factorial, so on. What you can write? What does the bracket term denote? What's the bracket term? At least guess it. You know that answer. Yes. Answer should be 1. You know that answer should be 1. That means what should be the bracket term? Is it not e raised to m? It has to be, answer should be 1 means it has to be e raised to m. This is nothing but, I hope if you remember, it is the e raised to x expansion, Taylor series expansion, or actually it is Maclaurin series expansion. E power x, Maclaurin's expansion, it will give you 1 plus x square by 2 factorial, x cube by 3 factorial, so on. Sin x, cos x, remember those series expansion of this. You'll be using them. I hope you use them in other subjects also. Okay, try to remember them. This is the expansion of e power m. So e power minus m into e power m, it will give you 1. Hence, each probability is greater than 0 and sum of all probabilities is 1. Therefore, it represents a probability distribution function. Tomorrow is Sunday. Try to evaluate mean and standard deviation of this Poisson distribution. The same way as we have done the derivation for binomial. When you take mean, you can do easily. I hope so. You have to cancel x there again, similarly as we had done in binomial. And again, in the while calculating variance, x square into, when you go for that p of x, again add and subtract x there and try to simplify it in the same way. Try to get it. If you get, it's good. X square minus x plus x you have to write, and then p of x. X square into p of x. While doing this variance, x square p of x will be written as x square minus x plus x by adding and subtracting. Later again, take this term as one term, multiply with p of x, again x into p of x, which gives mu. Try to simplify it. Show that, actually question will be asked like this only. Show that mean and variance of a Poisson distribution are equal. Actually, it is m. You have to get mean as m, variance also as m. Try to do it if possible. Otherwise, we'll solve it on Monday.
Okay. Madam?
Yes.
Madam, in that 6 coin example, please show me the.
Which one? Today's example?
Yes, ma'am. 6 coin.
This one? Okay.
At starting step again.
Starting step? Can you come back? You want me to explain this?
Explain it once more. Please.
This one?
Yes,
starting initially. Okay. See, 6 coins are tossed. So 6 coins are tossed means experiment is done 6 times. Whenever you are doing probability, first understand what is your random experiment. Experiment is here tossing of a coin. Tossing of a coin is your random experiment just. Then what is the event? That is getting of a head. Or how many times the experiment is done? 6 times. 6 coins are tossed. Or it is tossing of a coin 6 times is same as 6 coins are tossed. Okay. So n becomes 6 there. The experiment, how many times you are going to repeat, that will give us the number of trials. So trials, number of trials is 6 here. Then find the probability of getting here. They are not mentioned anything else. Which distribution you have to apply? Nothing is mentioned. So now already I told you Poisson distribution, and you have seen that there n will tend towards infinity. So the number of trials will move on up to infinity there. Whereas in binomial distribution, it is finite. For a binomial distribution, it is finite. We call it as a small sample. For small samples, we apply binomial distribution. For large samples, and they should be countable, we will apply the Poisson distribution. Now here you can see that your success, you want it either 3 times or 2 times or 1 times, like that. Maximum 6 coins are tossed. N is 6. That itself tells that you have to apply the binomial distribution. Now, once you know that binomial distribution you are going to apply, you have to write what is your P and what is your Q. Now, P stands for probability of success. Now, whenever you want to know what success is, you have to read the question only. Usually questions will be in the same. It is not that they will ask you exactly 3 heads and at least 3 tails. The questions will not be like that. So if they are asked on heads, all will be on heads only. So that tells that getting a head will be your success. Exactly 3 heads is there, at least 3 heads, again at least 1, and everywhere you want head only. So that means success is in getting a head. And since you are doing this NCX, that is, out of n times you want x times success. When you write this, where is it? When you write this probability function, binomial probability function, this itself tells that you have written in the definition also, this x stands for number of successes when the experiment is done n times. So while writing P, it is not necessary to calculate your probability of success, how many times you have repeated the experiment. You have to just go for the one trial. When you do the experiment once, you will be writing what the probability of success is. First, you know that success is in getting a head. At least 1 head, at least 2 heads. That means success is in getting a head. Once you know success is in getting head, probability of getting head you want for one trial only. For one trial. So if you toss a coin once, you want what the probability of head is. And you know probability of head means it is 1 favorable out of 2 possibilities. Head or tail are the 2 possibilities. You want head only. There is only 1 favorable case. So it is 1 divided by 2. Once you know P, then you can calculate Q. Q is 1 minus P. Thing is, first you should know what is success. Whenever you are doing these all these examples, maybe whether it is Poisson or whether it is again there also in Poisson distribution, when you write P of x, again it is probability of getting success x times. So first, whenever you read the question, first thing you should know it, what is your success. So that can be known by reading the questions only. So check out the questions. In the question, what is asked, like in the next question, what you have here, exactly 2 will be defective, at least 2 are defective. You want defective pens. That means success is getting a defective pen only. So in that way, read the question, what it is asked, and then go for writing what the success is. Once you know the success, write its probability for one success. What is the probability of getting one time success, or can say success in one trial. Then whatever P you get, go for your Q. What confusion you have, if you can explain, then I can explain it better.
No, it's clear now.
Clear? Anything else? Anybody? I know these probability examples.
But
If you have any textbook, better go through them. Every example differs. Even if we have this much of experience, then still, then when we look at the probability examples, it is very, very difficult to understand and solve them. And that too, when you're, I'm targeting it most on your aptitude exams when you go for in your 7th and 8th semester, you will be having these. So better understand them here so that at least you can try to attempt. Yes? You are telling something?
And always sub questions are only one type, that's heads or tails, right?
Yes. They will ask the same thing. Suppose they say number 6 appears if it is a tossing of a coin. So 6 appears twice, 6 appears at least 3 times. It will be like that only. That means you should know what that success is.
Okay.
Anything else? Others? Okay, we'll stop the class. We'll meet on Monday.